Yo, what's going on guys? Hanging Hunt Outdoors here. My name is Dimitri, and in today's video we're going to be going over how to shoot an index style release for 3D hunting, target, any form of archery, as well as a pretty solid pick that will last you guys a lifetime. Are you guys ready? Let's get into it. Alright guys, so for starters I'm just going to go over the pick, the index style release that I would recommend to you guys that I've been using for a little over a year now, and it's held up great and it's shot fantastic for me, which is going to be the Cobra Heartland Bowhunter. Let's get you guys in a little bit closer and I'll show you some of the features it's got. Alright guys, so for starters, it's got a hook style, this is a hook style index release. So you got a little hook here. It makes it super easy so that when you're in a hunting situation, you know, it's a little dark out, which is when, you know, usually deer are going to be moving the most and you kind of can't see exactly what you're doing if you had like a caliper style release. The hook makes it super easy. You can just feel your D-loop on your string and then you'll be able to just pop it right over the D-loop and then you're good to go. You know, the hook styles are the way to go in my opinion when it comes to index style releases. And then you have the trigger here. Now on the Cobra Heartland Bowhunter, they give you like 4 different triggers that you can play with, and they're just held in with a little screw here, a little machine screw. Super cool. You can swap them out depending on which one you like. They have like a 1.5 finger, a curve. This one's a slant down trigger that I have on personally, which I found to be a little bit more comfortable. I swapped between this and the 1.5 trigger, and yeah, both worked perfect. I liked this one a little bit more, so this is the one that I went with. And then it also has height adjustability. So there's like a little screw here. It's an Allen machine screw, and it gives you a bunch of different options that you can put it through, and it basically acts as a pin. So when you put it through, it'll hold the outer housing over the little dowel that's on the inside, and they give you like 6 or 7 different adjustments in and out that you can choose from to get your proper length of the actual release arm. And then moving down a little bit, it has this cool like 90 and 180, I would probably call it, degree adjustment system. So you can flip it up and back and out of the way in a hunting situation, and it just makes it super easy to climb up your stand without getting your release snagged on anything. It just makes it super easy and simple. So yeah, I like that. It's really good so that you can just put your release on and, you know, hit the trails and get your tree stand set up and everything, and it's tucked out of the way, which makes it super nice. And then we got the wrist strap here. It's a leather wrist strap, which I really like. They actually have a buckle system on here, which is super nice, because a buckle system on an index style release for the strap is going to allow you to put your strap or put your release, it's going to allow you to adjust it to the same exact size in the same exact way every single time, because archery is all about being repetitive and doing the same exact thing every single time. That's how you get your consistency to improve. And so yeah, these holes here just allow you to get the release set up and adjusted the same way every single time. I actually have put a little bit of silver Sharpie around the hole there, which is kind of worn off, but yeah, that's just what I did. And then they have this cool little like opening here so that you can just slide the strap down under, and it doesn't require you to pick it up and feed it through. I thought that was pretty cool. It just makes the whole buckle system a little bit faster. And then they have a little retention like strap on the back that you can put your tag in through, and then it's good to go. So yeah, super solid release. Cobra Heartland Bowhunter. You know, it's super smooth. It's got like a little roller on the trigger, and that's why it's so smooth when you go to fire it. Just super consistent release. This is what I would recommend for you guys for a pretty solid index style release that isn't going to break the bank. I believe this one was around $100, so it's not super expensive and it's not, you know, bare minimum. So that's the one that I chose. Now let's go ahead and get into how you shoot this thing. Alright, so first things first, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find an adjustment that fits well around your wrist but doesn't hurt when you go to draw the bow back. If you get these things too tight, they can actually put some weird pressure on like your wrist and your cartilage inside of here, and you can get like a weird crack that goes on in your wrist, and it's pretty uncomfortable. So get it set up in a way that 1, it doesn't hurt, and 2, it feels pretty comfortable, and it is pretty tight. You don't want it dangling around on here. You want it to come up to your wrist and you want it to stop, just like so. So I have mine set up on the 3rd hole in. You guys can see that. And now we're gonna figure out your length. So when your release is all like set up and on your wrist, what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna pull it forward. And I like to set mine up to the first knuckle on my middle finger once you pull up and get the tension out of it on your wrist. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna allow you to, when you get into your anchoring position, it's just gonna make it easier for you to wrap your finger around the trigger and not have to really reach forward to get your finger around that trigger. All right guys, so now we're gonna talk about something just as important as the length of the release, as well as like how you hold the trigger, which is anchor points. Anchor points are super critical when it comes to form and archery because that helps your consistency, and better consistency means better shot process. Where I like to anchor is I like to take the little like indent from my thumb and index finger right here, and I like to take that and I like to press it right up against my cheek right there, and that just allows me to get a really solid anchor point that I can repeat every single time. And then what you're also going to want to do is you're going to want your string to land on the corner of your mouth and then also touching the very tip of your nose. And the reason why you do that is because then you have 3 solid anchor points. I would say you want a minimum of 3 anchor points in everyone's shot process. 3 anchor points so that your shot is super consistent and you can feel it, and it's the same every single time. So now that we have that out of the way, I'm gonna actually I got my arrows with me and I got my bow behind me, and I'll go through a couple shots with you. But first I got my shot trainer. This is just like a little thing that I made out of paracord and a screwdriver. I'll show you how I like to pull through the shot. So when you anchor just like so. This part of your thumb goes right around your cheek or your jawbone. And then as I wrap my finger around the trigger, I apply a little bit of pressure, and then I pull back with my shoulder blades and keep applying pressure with my finger. Keep pulling, keep pulling, keep pulling, and then it goes off. And that's a super consistent way to shoot this thing. You're not actually activating the trigger yourself. You're just pulling, and with back pressure, you're letting the trigger go off. So that's how I like to actually shoot these things, is the back tension or back pressure way. I'll show you one more time, a little bit closer. Come here, wrap your finger around the trigger, apply a little bit of pressure, like so. Pull, 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 keep your finger tight, pull, pull, and then your shot will break. So now I'm gonna do that with my bow. This hook style release is so nice. I prefer hook style releases on all my releases because I can look at the target, feel down my string, find my D-loop, and I'm hooked on. Versus caliper style release, I'd have to look down, get it set up, clip it on, and then look back up. That way you can just keep your eye on the deer that's walking in front of you, or whatever the case may be. You can look at what you're trying to shoot instead of having to look down to hook your release on your D-loop. We'll go ahead, get this pulled back. Find your anchor point. Finger around the trigger, applying a little bit of pressure. And you follow through with the shot. That was back pressure as well as applying consistent pressure on the trigger the entire time. One more. And when you shoot it this way, it's almost a surprise shot every single time, because your motion is so slow and you're pulling so slow that you really don't know when it's going to go off. And shooting it this way can also help eliminate target panic if you guys have that. I know when I first started shooting index style releases and just got into bad habits and not really like knowing proper technique and stuff, I had some pretty bad target panic to a point where I couldn't even rest my finger on the trigger. I'd have to aim, come over, and I would slap the crap out of the trigger, just because the second my finger touched the trigger, I just wanted to let the arrow fly. It didn't matter whether I was on the target or not, or what I was trying to hit or not. So definitely try out shooting that way if you guys have noticed any target panic, because it really can help. If you guys are wondering why I'm only like 15 yards away, I have my bow set up for a handheld style release, which is right here, and I have no idea where I was going to impact, so I'm a little closer. But this right here is the stand Perfex release. This is a thumb button release. If you guys have used an index style release for a while and you just want to experiment in the handheld realm, but you're kind of iffy about whether or not you want to get a hinge style release, those can be a little sketchy because obviously they can go off at any moment and you don't really know when. Thumb buttons are different. We have a video out on the channel going over this release, so if you guys are interested and want to learn more about this and why I think this is the best all-around release for all of archery, make sure you go check it out. It'll be linked in the description below and it'll pop up in one of the corners. So yeah, if you guys are interested, make sure you go check that video out. And that's pretty much going to wrap up the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked the video, thumbs up would be much appreciated. If you guys have any questions, comments, or suggestions on future videos that we can do, make sure you leave them in the comments section below. We're always open to feedback and we'll try to read and respond to all of them. As well as if you want to see more videos just like this one, make sure you get subscribed and hit the post notification bell so you get notified when we upload. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Ciao.